The contract hit my desk so hard my coffee jumped. I need a husband by tomorrow. That was the first thing she said. No hello, no small talk, just that. Her name was Elena Hart, 36, CEO of Heartstone Hotels. The kind of woman people moved out of the way for in hallways without knowing why. Most days she walked into my office like she owned the whole floor. Today she looked like the floor might open under her feet. I work crisis. Reputation, bad headlines, board fights. My name is Noah Price, and people usually call me when their world is on fire and they want it to burn in a neat controlled line. This better be a joke, I said. My voice sounded calm. It is a habit. If my voice shakes, rich people panic. Elena dropped into the chair across from me. Her coat was still damp from the Chicago rain. Her hair was pulled back tight, but there were stray pieces clinging to her cheek like they had given up on her usual neat rules. She shoved a thick folder across my desk. They moved the board vote up, she said. And my uncle filed his challenge this morning. If I am not married by tomorrow at 5, he triggers the clause in my dad's will. He gets controlling interest. I lose the company. I did not look at the papers right away. I looked at her. That was always my first step. Paper lies. Faces do not, at least not as well as people think. Her hands were steady, but only because she had them laced so tight her knuckles had gone white. Her jaw was set. Her eyes were wrong, too bright, too wide. That was fear, wrapped in steel. You hired me to handle the strike headlines, I said. Angry staff, angry press. I can spin a story. I can't rewrite a will. This isn't about a spin, she said. This is about survival. If I do not trigger the marriage clause by tomorrow, my uncle sells the hotels. Every property, every job, gone. My father trusted him to protect me. He wants to watch me lose. She took a breath that sounded like pain. I need a legal husband on paper before the vote, she said. Someone the board will accept, someone the court cannot tear apart in 10 minutes. She swallowed hard. I need a husband by tomorrow, quote. Hearing her say it again hit different, not because of the word husband, because of the word need. Elena never used that word. She ordered, she expected, she did not need. You know the risks, I said slowly. If this looks like a fake marriage, your uncle will drag us into court for fraud. And if he wins, you do not just lose the company, you could lose everything. Your name, your seat, maybe your freedom. I am aware, she said. Her voice was quieter now. That is why I am here, Noah. You specialize in disasters that look impossible. You want a referral to a family lawyer, I said. I know a guy. He's mean. He wears ugly ties. He can. I did not come for a referral. She cut in. The words snapped out, sharper than she meant. Then she winced, like the sharp edge had cut her too. I came to you, she said softer, because you see patterns no one else does. You read people. You know where they break and where they hold. I need a plan that works by tomorrow. I leaned back in my chair and felt every stupid path this could take. My life had been simple last week. One more contract with Heartstone, then a move to San Francisco. My inbox held an offer from a big West Coast firm that promised more money and fewer late-night fires. I could still take that exit if I walked away right now. You can walk out of here, I told her. I will still call my guy and tell him to take your case. No fee, no strings. You can say you never asked me for anything bigger than press releases. She lifted her chin like she was back in the boardroom. That was her armor. I am not running, she said. I am making a choice. It may be the only bad choice that saves everything. I studied her for a long second. Her pulse beat fast in her throat. The rain on her coat had left dark patches on the gray fabric. Under all that control, she looked exhausted. Then you need a plan by tonight, I said. The distance between consultant and man shrank in my chest. Come over. She blinked. To your office? To my apartment, I said. This place has glass walls. Half your staff can see us from the elevator. And if your uncle has someone watching, they will know you are scared. We do not plan your whole life in a fishbowl. Her mouth pressed into a thin line. She hated being told what to do, even when she secretly knew I was right. I do not go to other people's homes, Elena said. I know. I said. That is why no one will expect you there. Silence stretched between us. She looked at the folder, then at me. If I come over, she said, we do this my way, no jokes, no flirting, no games. You are my client, I said. This is not a game. She nodded once, clean, sharp. Text me the address. My loft in the West Loop was nothing like her glass tower office. Brick walls, high beams, one big room with a kitchen that actually got used. It smelled like coffee grounds and laundry detergent. The kind of simple life you forget exists when you live in boardrooms. When she stepped inside that night, she looked like she did not trust the floor. Her black coat hung off her shoulders, still damp at the hem. Her hair was out of its tight knot, curling a little from the mist. It made her look younger and more dangerous at the same time. This is different from your office, she muttered. Less security, I said. More honesty. I took her coat and hung it on the back of a chair. Her gaze followed my hand to the kitchen counter, where my laptop screen glowed with an unread email. Westridge Partners offer letter, San Francisco. I flipped the screen down before she could read more. Work, I said. Not tonight. Her eyes narrowed, curious for a second, but the panic behind them pulled her back to the real problem. She started to pace, heels tapping hard on the concrete floor. My uncle knows I am single, she said. He knows the engagement with Daniel ended 2 years ago. If I show up with a stranger tomorrow, he will rip us apart in front of the board. He will say it is a sham, a trick, a last-minute stunt. Then we do not use a stranger, I said. She stopped pacing. What does that mean? It has to be someone who makes sense, I said. Someone the board has seen near you, someone with a reason to be around you late at night, someone who already lives in your calendar. Her eyes narrowed as she followed the line of thought. Who, she asked slowly, fits that description? I held her gaze and felt the answer hit both of us at the same time. Me, I said. The word tasted insane and true. Her breath caught. For the first time all day she took a full step back, like the idea had real weight. You are my crisis manager, she said. There are rules. On paper, I said, you are my client. In real life, this is your company on the line. If we do this, it is not part of a contract. You keep control. You can call it off any time. You can fire me the minute the danger is gone. She stared at me like she was reading a term sheet for hidden traps. And you, she asked, what do you get out of this, Noah? Good question. One I did not want to answer out loud. I get a clean job finished, I said. I get to keep your uncle from burning people who do not deserve it, and I get to know I did not walk away when it was hard. Her shoulders dropped a tiny bit. Not much, just enough to show the crack in the armor. And if it goes wrong? She asked. Then I face it with you, I said. Not from another city, not from another firm. She stepped closer. I could see the faint freckles at the bridge of her nose under the office makeup. Her voice dropped. This is more than fake smiles for cameras, she said. It is my name on a legal line. It is yours, too. If I agree, I need to know you are not thinking of tomorrow as a way out. I thought of the email on my laptop. The one-way ticket to a life that did not include late-night hotel wars and women who smelled like rain and sandalwood. Then I looked at her. Say the words. I told her. She held my eyes for one long second, then lifted her hand, palm up, like a deal. I need a husband by tomorrow, she said quietly. No tricks, no half measures. Are you in or not? My chest felt tight. I put my hand in hers. Then we start the plan tonight, I said. Mrs. Almost Hart, call the lawyer. We are getting married. The lawyer answered on the second ring. It is 9 at night, Mason said. Either you are dying or you are about to make me very nervous. I need a marriage contract drafted before morning, I said. Clean, airtight, no tricks in the wording. Silence. I could imagine him taking off his glasses and rubbing his eyes. What did you do, Noah? Nothing yet, I said. But by this time tomorrow, I might be married to my client. Another pause, longer this time. Tell me you are joking, he said. I looked over at Elena, standing in my living room with her arms wrapped around herself like she was holding her ribs in place. I am not joking, I said. Then I need details, Mason said. In writing. Right now. And I need to remind you that entering a marriage only to dodge a will challenge smells like fraud to every judge in this city. I know the smell, I said. Can you keep us from choking on it? Quote. He blew out a breath. I can build you a paper trail, he said. I cannot turn a fake relationship into a real one on command. If this looks like a stunt, you could both end up in court on charges. You could lose your license. She could lose her company. Quote. I glanced at Elena again. She was watching me, not the room, waiting for my answer. Draft what you can, I said. We will make the rest real. Mason muttered something about needing new friends, but agreed to meet us at dawn. When I hung up, Elena let out a breath she had been holding for so long her shoulders sank an inch. He thinks this is crazy, she said. He thinks everything I do is crazy, I said. He still shows up. Her mouth twitched, almost a smile. It did not quite make it all the way. We need more than paper, I said. We need a story that makes sense. How long have I been on your contract? 18 months, she said instantly. Good, I said. Say it out loud later. 18 months. The board has seen us together. Late meetings, travel, closed doors. We are not strangers. Her brows drew together. People already gossip, she said. That helps us now, I said. They will believe this faster than they believe you found love in a coffee shop last night. Elena's eyes softened for a second at the word love. Then she straightened. This is not love, she said. I know, I said, but it has to look like something that could turn into it. She went quiet at that. We worked through the night. Mason sent drafts. I printed, read, marked places where the wording made my stomach clench. Elena corrected terms like she was negotiating a deal, which, in a way, she was. No secret asset transfers, no clauses that made it sound like I was buying into the company. We kept it simple. 2 adults entering a legal marriage. Separate property, clear responsibilities, no mention of feelings. Around 3 in the morning, I noticed her hand start to shake when she reached for her pen. Stop, I said. We do not have time, she said. We do not have time for you to sign something you cannot see straight on, I said. I went to the kitchen and came back with a mug, tea. She looked at it like it had personally offended her. I do not drink tea, she said. Yes, you do, I said. Your assistant brings you peppermint at 10 every night. Your voice softens when you hold the cup. For 5 minutes you look like a person and not a statue. Her eyes widened with surprise. You notice that? She said. I shrugged. It is my job to notice what keeps my clients from falling apart, I said. Drink. She took the mug. Her fingers brushed mine, cold. She held the cup with both hands and took a slow sip. Her shoulders relaxed by half an inch. You watch me more than I realized, she said. That is how I keep you alive, I said. At 5:45, we met Mason at the courthouse. The lobby smelled like old paper and burned coffee. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. This was not a place built for romance. It was built for forms. Elena wore a cream coat over a simple navy dress. Her hair was pulled back, but softer at the edges. No sharp bun. No hard lines. She looked like a woman who had not slept and refused to show it. We stood in line behind a couple arguing softly about who forgot their wallet. Elena's jaw was tight. Her eyes were on the counter, not on me. I slid my hand over hers. Just once. Firm and steady. Breathe, I said. I am breathing, she answered. Try it without lying, I said. Her mouth twitched again. This time it almost counted as a smile. When they called our number, the clerk barely looked up. We filled out forms, answered questions, signed our names. My hand did not shake. I checked hers. Steady now. An older judge performed the civil ceremony. She looked at us over her glasses like she had seen every version of this scene. The desperate couples, the drunk ones, the ones who thought vows could fix everything. Do you, Noah Price, take this woman as your wife? The judge asked. I looked at Elena. I was supposed to say words and nothing more. It was a deal, a strategy, a move on a board we had not built. But her eyes met mine, and for 1 second, the panic was gone. Underneath it, I saw something else. Trust, thin and new and stubborn. "I do," I said. "Do you, Elena Hart, take this man as your husband?" She swallowed, then lifted her chin. "I do," she said. I slid a simple band onto her finger. Not gold from a family heirloom. Just a ring from a small jewelry shop that did not ask questions when I walked in before closing. The metal was cool against her skin. When my fingers closed over hers, the room felt too quiet. The judge stamped the paper and handed it back. "Congratulations," she said. "You are married." The word dropped between us like a stone into deep water. We stepped out into cold morning air. That was when the first camera flash hit. Lena flinched. I moved without thinking, pulling her into my side, lifting my hand to shield her face from the lens. "Smile," I said through my teeth. "If they want a show, we give them one on our terms." Her eyes snapped up to mine. "He sent them," she said. "My uncle." "Good," I said. "Let him see what he cannot control." I opened the car door and waited. She hesitated for half a second, then climbed in. Her hand clung to my jacket until the door closed. In the reflection of the glass, we looked like any other couple leaving City Hall after a quick wedding. A little tense, a little overwhelmed, real enough to hurt. By afternoon, I was carrying a duffel bag into her penthouse. The Hart residence sat high over the river, all glass and stone and quiet money. The air inside smelled like polished wood and fresh flowers. The house manager, a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes, met us at the door. "Mr. Hart," she said to me. "Noah," I almost corrected, then realized what she had said. Husband name, not consultant name. "Elena," I said instead. "Does everyone here know?" "Staff were told this morning," Elena said, her tone smooth and firm again. "You are my husband. You will be living here." The house manager's gaze flicked to my bag, then back to my face. Not cold, not warm, measuring. I followed Elena down the hall to her bedroom. The room was big enough to hold my entire apartment. King bed, soft gray sheets, a view of the skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows. My bag on her floor looked wrong and right at the same time. "This is where the staff pays attention most," I said quietly. "Housekeepers, drivers. If the guest room stays untouched, they will know. And if they know, your uncle will know." "So what are you saying?" she asked. "We have to share a bed." "Yes," I said. "We do not have to share anything else. You set the rules, you set the lines. But the picture has to match the story." She stared at the bed like it was a cliff edge. "I work late," she said. "I get up early. I do not do sleepovers." "You also do not do panic," I said. "Yet here we are." Her eyes flashed. "Are you mocking me?" she asked. "No," I said. "I am telling you this is another thing you are going to learn to do. Share space. You can still keep half the bed." I picked up a pillow and set it in the middle. "Line of defense," I said. "You do not cross. I do not cross. We treat it like a wall." She watched me, suspicious. "You are serious," she said. "There's a court date," I said. Her shoulders relaxed a tiny bit. "Left side," she said. "I sleep on the left." Quote. "Then I sleep on the right," I said. Later, when the staff had pulled back and the house was quiet, we lay on top of the covers fully dressed, a pillow wall between us. She stared at the ceiling. I watched the shadows on the wall. "If this goes wrong," she said into the dim room, "I lose my father's legacy." "It will not go wrong," I said. "How can you be sure?" she whispered. I looked toward the pillow line. Her hand rested near it, fingers curled in. "Close, not touching." "Because I am not planning an escape," I said. "Not tonight." Her hand moved, inching closer to that line. Her fingertips brushed the edge of the pillow, then my wrist, just for a second. A test. A question. I did not pull away. Her hand retreated, but the signal stayed. For the first time since she had dropped that contract on my desk, I understood exactly how deep we were already in. The first morning as a married man started with the wrong alarm. Elena's phone went off at 5:30. A sharp tone, not music. She sat up fast, like someone had thrown cold water on her. For a second, she looked around the room, confused. Her eyes landed on my duffel bag, then on the pillow line, then on me. Right. Husband. Her shoulders straightened like she pulled herself back into her usual armor. "You snore," she said. "I do not snore," I said. "Then something growled in the middle of the night," she answered. There was a tiny spark in her eyes. It took me a second to realize it was humor. "You talk in your sleep," I said. "You said something about payroll and war." Her face went still. "What did I say exactly?" she asked. "You said, 'Move the cash before he sees it,'" I said. "Then you kicked me." Color rose in her cheeks. "Oh," she said. "I've had worse first nights," I said. A quiet beat passed. Her eyes softened. "This is not a first night," she said. "This is a shield." "Shield can still be comfortable," I said. "You have coffee?" She frowned, like the idea of me in her kitchen at this hour broke some rule. Then she nodded toward the door. "Down the hall," she said. "Right side. Nora usually has everything set by 6. We stepped into the hall together. The smell of fresh coffee drifted toward us before we even reached the kitchen. The house manager, Nora, turned at the sound of our footsteps. Her gaze dropped to the space between us, to how close Elena walked at my side, to my bare feet on her polished floor. "Good morning," she said, "Mr. and Mrs. Hart." Elena hesitated, just a fraction. Then she stepped closer, like it was the most natural thing in the world, and reached for my hand. Her fingers laced with mine. Not tight, not clinging, just connected. "Morning, Nora," she said, voice calm. "We have a long day. Board prep. Could you have breakfast sent to the office in an hour?" "Of course," Nora said. Her eyes flicked to our joined hands again. Approval, or at least acceptance, passed through her expression. When Elena let go, she did it gently, like she was taking off a bracelet instead of dropping an act. We ate toast and eggs standing at the counter. She read board notes off her phone. I watched her mouth tighten when she saw her uncle's name on an email thread. "They are already talking," she said. "Special counsel, independent review of the marriage." "Of course they are," I said. "Your uncle wants this to look dirty. He cannot stand the idea that you found a move he did not see." "He thinks I will make one mistake," she said. "One slip, one lie." "Then we do not lie," I said. "We give them boring truth that makes them yawn instead of attack." She set her phone down. "What does that look like?" she asked. "It looks like normal," I said. "Real couples leave a trail. Text messages, receipts, people who saw them hold hands in line, stupid photos at dinner. Right now, on paper, we look fast. We need to look consistent." "You want a photo," she said. "I want several," I said. "Not posed, not perfect. Something that says, we are tired and we eat regular food." Her eyes narrowed. "Regular food," she repeated. "Not 5-star tasting menus," I said. "A simple place. Somewhere the staff will remember us as the couple who stayed too long over dessert." She thought about it, tapping her ring against the side of her mug. "There is a bistro near the river," she said. "I go there alone after late meetings sometimes. No press, just people who mind their own business." Quote. "Then tonight we go there, not alone," I said. She looked at me for a long second. "Doing this," she said quietly, "means letting people inside parts of my life I keep locked." "You hired me to unlock things," I said. "You just did not expect it to be your own kitchen." The corner of her mouth lifted, just slightly. The day moved fast after that. Mason called with updates. The Hearthstone board demanded a meeting for the next afternoon. They wanted to discuss the new marital development, which was legal talk for try to break us. At noon, I went back to my old office to pack up a few more things. My laptop pinged as soon as I opened it. One unread email from Westridge Partners. Subject: Final confirmation, San Francisco start date. I stared at the lines on the screen. "Noah, we are excited to move forward. As discussed, we can finalize your offer and book your flight for next week. Let us know if anything changes. My finger hovered over the reply button. I could type 3 words, and my life would shift in a clean, straight line away from this chaos. Before I could decide, my phone buzzed. Elena. "Where are you?" she asked. It was not sharp, it was not boss voice, it was smaller. "My office," I said, packing up a few things. A pause. "You are still taking that other job," she said. The way she said it made my chest tighten. "I am not taking anything right now," I said. "Right now, I am your husband on paper and your first line of defense in person. That is all." Another pause. I could almost hear her weighing every word. "The board moved the session up," she said. "Tomorrow morning. Mason says they want to ask about our history." "Then tonight matters more," I said. "We go to that bistro. We let someone see us be normal. We give them a story that starts before tomorrow morning." When I hung up, I did not answer the West Ridge email. I closed the laptop and left it on the desk. The bistro was small, warm, full of people who did not wear suits. Brick walls, wooden tables, low-hanging lights. They seated us near the window. The hostess smiled when she saw Elena. "Welcome back," she said. "You are usually by yourself." Quote, Elena's hand found mine under the table, not forced, just there. "Not tonight," she said. "We ordered pasta and wine. Simple, real. No board talk for the first 10 minutes, by my rule." I asked her about her first job. She told me about working front desk at one of the smaller hotels in college, how she used to sleep in the staff lounge between shifts. "You like control now because you had none then," I said. She blinked at me. "You think you know me," she said. "I know enough to know you hate being watched," I said. "And right now, someone is watching." I nodded toward the street. A man with a camera hung back near a parked car, pretending to look at his phone. "Paparazzi," she muttered. "Probably sent by your uncle's people," I said. "So we give them something they cannot twist." I reached across the table and held out my hand. "Come on," I said. She hesitated for a heartbeat. Then her fingers slid into mine, slow and sure. Her thumb brushed over my knuckles like it was natural. "Do not make a joke," she warned. "No jokes," I said. "Just this." Quote. We sat like that, hands linked, for a long moment. The camera outside flashed once, twice. Inside, the waiter poured more water and pretended not to notice. For the first time, it did not feel like a script. It felt like something that could exist even without lawyers. The next morning, the boardroom felt colder than usual. Long table, 12 chairs. 3 attorneys. Elena's uncle at the far end, looking pleased, like he already saw our marriage in pieces on the floor. A stenographer sat by the wall, fingers poised over the keys. Mason sat beside me, legal pad open. He gave me a look that said, "Do not improvise." The lead attorney cleared her throat. "This session is to clarify the timeline and nature of your relationship," she said. "For the record, state your full names." We did. "How long have you known each other?" she asked. 18 months. We both answered at the same time. Her pen paused. "Good. And when did your relationship become romantic?" she asked. Elena met my eyes. "Last fall," she said. "After a year of working together, something changed." Quote, "What changed?" the attorney asked. Elena did not blink. "He noticed I drink peppermint tea after 10, she said. "He told me I was working myself into a mistake. No one talks to me like that. I did not fire him. That was probably the first sign." The attorney turned to me. "Do you agree?" she asked. "Yes," I said. She stops returning emails around midnight when she actually sleeps. She started answering my texts at 2 in the morning after that conversation. That was new. The stenographer's keys clicked steadily. My heart matched the rhythm. "Which side of the bed does Mrs. Hart sleep on?" another attorney asked. "The left," I said without thinking. "What animals does she like?" the first attorney asked. "She claims she does not have time for pets," I said. "But she keeps feeding the stray cat outside her office building. She calls it Monster and pretends she hates it." Elena's mouth twitched. The board members who knew her glanced at each other. They had seen that cat. "Mrs. Hart," the attorney said, "what does your husband do when he is lying?" Quote. Elena did not look at me. Her gaze stayed on the table for a second, then lifted. "He goes very still," she said, "like he is bracing for something to hit." The words landed in my stomach. The attorney nodded slowly. "Mr. Hart," she said to me, "have you made any plans in the last month that suggest you intend to leave this city or this marriage in the near future?" My spine stiffened. I felt Elena's eyes on me now. "No," I said. "I meant it. I meant it in the way that counted right now." Her uncle smiled without warmth. "Really?" he said. "Because I have found something that suggests otherwise." He slid a folder across the table toward the attorneys. They opened it. The top page was a printed email. Subject: Final confirmation. San Francisco start date. Below it, a grainy photo. Me sitting across from a woman in a dark suit in a hotel lobby. West Ridge Partners. 2 weeks ago. The attorney looked from the photo to me. "Mr. Hart," she said, "do you want to change your answer?" Elena turned her head slowly, her eyes locked on my face. The trust I had felt building the last 2 days hung between us like glass. "You were planning to leave," she said. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. The photo on the table was ugly and small. The hotel lobby lights washed everything out, but it was clear enough. Me in a dark suit, leaning forward. A woman across from me with a leather folder. A normal meeting that suddenly looked like a smoking gun. Elena's eyes were on me now. Not the attorney's, not her uncle, just me. "You were planning to leave," she said. Her voice was flat, no pitch, no drama. That was worse than yelling. I forced myself to stay seated. No flinching, no shifting. Still, just like she had told them. "I was exploring another job," I said. "Before any of this. Before the board moved the vote. Before the marriage conversation ever happened." The attorney tapped the printed email. "The date on this is 2 weeks before the wedding license," she said. "You did not tell Mrs. Hart about this offer." "No," I said. "I did not." "Why not?" she asked. "Because it was not real until I took it," I said. "And I did not take it." My heart pounded, but my voice stayed even. "I've done this work for a long time," I went on. "I move from crisis to crisis. When the fire is out, I leave. That is who I was when this email was sent." "And who are you now?" the attorney asked. I looked at Elena. "I am the man who put his name on her marriage certificate," I said. "Who moved into her house. Who lets your people ask questions about what side of the bed she sleeps on. That is not the behavior of someone who plans to vanish next week." Her uncle leaned forward. "Or," he said, "you are using my niece as a safety net. Marry the CEO, cash out, escape with a golden parachute when the board gets tired of her. That is what you do, right, Mr. Price? You fix, then you flee." Every eye turned to Elena. If she agreed with him, if she hesitated, if she even looked unsure, we were finished. She did not answer right away. That scared me more than anything. "Elena," her uncle said, softening his tone like he was the reasonable one. "You have always trusted numbers, not stories. Look at the numbers. He met with another firm as he was getting closer to you. He hit it. That is not loyalty." Her chair scraped back. She stood up very slowly, smoothing her skirt with hands that did not shake. "Loyalty," she said. "You are going to lecture me about loyalty." Her uncle sat back. He knew that tone. I did too. It was the one she used when a vendor tried to cheat her on terms. She walked to the head of the table, not asking permission. She placed her hand on the back of the empty chair there, the one her father used to sit in. "For the record," she said to the attorneys, "my uncle has moved his personal shares to 3 holding companies in the last year without informing this board. He calls that protecting the family. I call it preparing a coup." "Objection," he snapped. "That has nothing to do with your rushed marriage." "It has everything to do with it," she said. "You want to paint Noah as a runner. Someone who keeps 1 foot out the door. That used to be true. He used to be temporary. Everyone knew he was not staying in Chicago forever." She looked at me then, really looked. I braced for impact. "Then my father's claws dropped a clock on my head," she said. "You knew that, Uncle. You made sure of it. And when I came to Noah, yes, he had an exit sitting in his inbox. He could have taken it. He did not." She turned back to the attorneys. He put his name on the line next to mine, she said, voice steady. He moved into my home. He let your cameras follow him out of City Hall. He let you drag his job history into this room. That email does not prove fraud. It proves he had options and chose the harder one. Is that how you see it, Mrs. Hart? The lead attorney asked. You believe your husband has no intention of leaving. Elena's jaw worked once. I believe this, she said. If he leaves, it will not be because my uncle waves a piece of paper. It will be because he is tired of fighting my wars. She stepped back from the head chair and sat down beside me again, closer than before. Her thigh brushed mine under the table. On purpose. Are we done? She asked. For now, the attorney said. We will review the documents Mr. Mason provided and reconvene at the vote. Her uncle shot us both a look full of quiet rage. He stood and left without another word. When the door closed behind him, the room exhaled. Mason let out a breath that sounded like he had been holding it since sunrise. You did not lie, he murmured to me. You danced close, but you did not lie. I can work with that. The board filed out in small groups. No one spoke directly to us, but they looked at us differently now. Not like a scandal. Like a problem that might not be as messy as they feared. When we were finally alone, Elena pulled her hand away from the table. Her ring caught the light. You did not tell me about San Francisco, she said quietly. I know, I said. That is not a small thing, she said. I know, I repeated. She stared at the blank wall for a moment, then turned back to me. Are you staying? She asked. I could have given her a clean speech. I could have said yes without thinking. But after all the questions about truth, even the smallest lie would be poison. I do not know what 10 years from now looks like, I said. I know what today looks like. Today I am here. Today I am not getting on a plane. Today I am married to you and fighting your uncle, which is not something you do halfway. Her shoulders loosened, just a little. If you run, she said, I will survive. I always have. I just need to know before the next bomb hits. I am not running today, I said. That will have to be enough for now, she said. The board scheduled the final vote for the night of the quarterly investor gala. Mason thought it was a terrible idea. Too many cameras. Too much risk. It is a room full of people who will eat you alive if they smell weakness, he said. That is why it has to be tonight, Elena answered. They need to see I am not hiding. They need to see that my husband is not either. The hotel ballroom glowed with crystal lights and soft music. Investors in dark suits, spouses in bright dresses, smiles that never reached their eyes. I wore a black suit that fit too well, and a ring that still felt new. Elena was in navy satin that made her look like she had never been afraid of anything in her life. We made the rounds. Hands shook. Questions floated. No one asked about the marriage directly. They just looked at our rings and did the math. Halfway through the evening, Elena's uncle took the stage. He smiled into the microphone like he was about to give a kind toast. Family, he said, is the heart of Hearthstone. Tonight, we celebrate growth, but we also must talk about recent developments. A murmur rippled through the room. He held up a folder. Many of you have heard that my niece is married suddenly, he went on. Change can be beautiful. It can also be strategic. He opened the folder and pulled out the printed email. When a man takes meetings about leaving the city one week and marries the CEO the next, questions must be asked. Cameras lifted, phones recorded. My chest went cold. This was the moment, the one every crisis led to. Before I could move, Elena took my hand. Stay, she said under her breath, right here. Quote. Then she let go and walked straight up to the stage. She did not wait for her uncle to invite her. She just stepped into the light and took the microphone from his hand. Thank you for your concern, Uncle, she said. I will take it from here. The room went very quiet. My uncle is right about one thing, she said, facing the crowd. Change can be strategic. It can also be terrifying. She held up the email he had waved around. This is real, she said. My husband did talk to another firm before he and I ever discussed marriage. He has always been a fixer. He goes where the fires are. My stomach clenched, but she was not done. What he did not do, she said, was use this offer to pressure me. He did not ask me for shares. He did not ask me for a payout. He stood in front of City Hall, let strangers take pictures, moved into my home, and walked into a boardroom where every question was designed to break us apart. She looked down at me then. The lights hit her eyes and turned them into dark glass. "I did not marry him because he had nowhere else to go," she said. "I married him knowing he could leave and hoping he would not." She turned back to the investors. "You are worried about fraud," she said. "You are worried about stability. So am I. I grew up watching this company survive recessions and bad headlines. I will not risk it on a stunt. If you need proof, look at the boring details." She nodded toward Mason, who stood near the side of the room. "You'll have our leases, our joint accounts, our schedules, our stupid dinner receipts," she said. "You can dig as deep as you like. What you will not find is a secret payout. What you will see is two people who decided to stand on the same side of the fire. That is the only strategy here." She stepped closer to the edge of the stage and met my eyes again. "Noah," she said into the mic, "if you want to take that job, you can. I will not chain you to this company or to me. But I am tired of fighting alone. If you stay, stay with your whole self." The room watched me. This was not about the board anymore. This was about whether my pattern would win or if I would break it. I walked up to the stage. My legs felt heavy, but my steps did not falter. When I reached her side, she handed me the printed email. It felt thin and stupid in my hand. I looked at it once. Then I looked at her. "I have spent my whole life planning exits," I said, loud enough for the first few rows to hear. "I keep a bag half packed. I do not hang art on my walls. I talk myself into leaving before anyone has the chance to ask me to stay." I held up the page. "This was just another exit," I said. "Until you asked me to walk into something that actually scared me." I turned, found Mason in the crowd, and nodded. Then I pulled my phone out. The Westridge email was still sitting there. In front of everyone, I opened it, scrolled to the bottom, and typed 3 words. "Thank you, but no." I hit send. Then I deleted the thread and turned the screen toward Elena so she could see the empty inbox. "I am staying," I said. "Not because there is nowhere else to go, but because for once I do not want to run." The room was so quiet I could hear my own pulse. Elena's shoulders dropped, slow and real. Her hand found my lapel and curled into the fabric. "Good," she said softly, the mic catching just enough of it. "Because I am done being brave by myself." Her uncle's face had gone tight and pale. The investors were not looking at him anymore. They were looking at us. Later, Mason would tell us the board voted to keep her as CEO by a wide margin. They did not want to be the ones who fired the woman who chose transparency in front of a room full of cameras while her uncle tried to twist half-truths. Fraud charges never came. Without a secret payout, without a paper trail of lies, there was nothing to stick. The fight was not clean. It never is. But we walked out of it on the same side. 6 weeks later, the office door said Hart plus Price in simple black letters. Not a hotel lobby. Not my old firm. A new floor carved out of Heartstone headquarters. Walls painted in soft gray instead of cold white. A place where crisis strategy and real operations lived in the same room. I sat at the corner desk, going through numbers for a new property. The knock on the open door was light. Elena leaned against the frame in jeans and a sweater, hair loose, no makeup. The CEO outfit was on a hanger somewhere. This was just her. She walked in and set a thermos on my desk. "Tea," I said. "Let me guess. Peppermint." "Coffee," she said. "You have a long night." She came around the desk and perched on the edge beside me, close enough that her knee bumped my arm. "I have a new project," she said. "I want your risk assessment." "That sounds familiar," I said. She smiled, slow and warm now. "And," she added, leaning in to press a quick, soft kiss to my jaw, I need my husband to tell me when I am about to become the woman who forgets to sleep again. I rested my hand on her waist, fingers resting against soft fabric that smelled like her and not office air. Only if you tell me when I start thinking about exits instead of plans, I said. Her mouth curved. Deal, she said. Outside, Chicago was still cold, still sharp. Still full of fires waiting to start. Inside our office it was warm enough. Not because the battles stopped, because this time we walked into them together.